You probably read the title and thought, what the hell is this? Maybe you laughed. Maybe you rolled your eyes. Maybe you clicked out of curiosity, and that's okay. That reaction you had, that's human. That's real, because we're all living in a world where outrageous gets attention, where shock sells, and where most of us are so desperate for something, anything to break through the noise that will chase whatever makes us feel for even a second. Let's get real. Titles like that, they don't just grab you, they expose you. They expose how we've been trained to compare, to measure, to rank, to judge, and most of all, to assume that bigger means better. The biggest house, the biggest car, the biggest bank account, the biggest career, and yeah, sometimes even the biggest penis. But I'm not here to talk about any of that. I'm here to challenge why we think it matters. Why we let ourselves get pulled off track by things that have nothing to do with who we are or what we're capable of. You've spent so much of your life thinking you have to measure up to someone else's standard. You've convinced yourself that there's this invisible scoreboard, and if you don't have the right number, the right partner, the right weight, the right title, then somehow you're behind, you're failing. You're not good enough, and that's the real problem. The truth is, we have been comparing ourselves into paralysis. We don't take risks because we assume someone else is already doing it better. We don't speak up because we worry our voice isn't loud enough. We don't start because we think someone else already won. And all the while, we stay stuck, waiting, watching, shrinking. You don't need to be the biggest, the boldest, or the best. You just need to be the one who starts, the one who decides today that being average by the world's standards doesn't mean being average in life. The person with the largest anything is not the one who wins. The one who wins is the person who shows up for their life every damn day, the person who doesn't quit on themselves, the person who is willing to be embarrassed, to look stupid, to risk rejection because they know deep down that regret feels so much worse. There are so many people out there who have everything, the money, the followers, the fancy title, and they are still miserable. Why? Because they never stopped to ask themselves what matters. They were too busy chasing the title, the approval, the validation. They built a life based on someone else's metrics, and now they're trapped in it. But you don't have to do that. You can choose something different. The real flex in this world isn't what you own. It's how you live. It's whether you can look in the mirror at the end of the day and say, I showed up. That's it. That's the win. Did you do the thing you were afraid of? Did you take the step you've been avoiding? Did you stop waiting for perfect and just start? Because confidence doesn't come from success. Confidence comes from action. You don't think your way into a new life. You move your way into one. And every move you make, no matter how small, rewires your brain. It tells your mind, I can trust myself. I do what I say I will do. I am in control. I know what it feels like to be stuck, to feel like nothing's working, like you're too far behind to catch up. I've been there, rock bottom, stuck in a job I hated, broke, overwhelmed, drinking too much, yelling at my kids, disconnected from my own life. And it didn't take some massive plan to change. It didn't take waiting until I felt ready. It took 5 seconds to interrupt the cycle, 5 seconds to move instead of think, 5 seconds to take back the wheel. There's no magic, there's no guru, it's you, it's always been you. You don't need more time, you need less hesitation. You don't need to find yourself. You need to remember who the hell you were before the world told you what to be. You were born knowing how to take risks, how to be curious, how to fall and get back up. That instinct, it's still in you, but it's been buried under years of comparison and self-doubt and criticism. It's time to dig it back up. And yeah, we joke about the world's largest penis. We laugh because it's absurd. But you know what's really absurd? The fact that you are wasting your one precious life measuring yourself against nonsense, against lies, against people who don't even know who they are. You don't need a big anything to be powerful. You need courage. You need clarity. You need 5 seconds of boldness at a time. Because boldness compounds. Courage compounds. Small actions taken consistently beat the hell out of giant moves that never happen. You want to change your life, then change what you do in the next 5 seconds. Not tomorrow, not Monday, right now. The world doesn't need more impressive people. It needs more real ones, people who choose honesty over perfection. People who do hard things without waiting to be ready. People who don't care if they're measured, mocked, or misunderstood because they're too busy moving forward. That can be you. It should be you. So no, I'm not going to tell you who the world's largest penis belongs to, because I don't care, and you shouldn't either. What I do care about is whether or not you are done wasting your life comparing it to someone else's. Whether or not you're ready to stop letting the world's noise drown out your own voice. Whether or not you are going to stop watching your life and start living it. You know what to do. You've always known. You've just been waiting. Now it's time to stop. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, go. Comparison kills action. It's one of the most subtle and destructive habits we've all learned to normalize. From the moment we're old enough to look around, we start measuring ourselves against everyone else. We compare our bodies, our voices, our families, our achievements. We compare what we have, what we don't have, what we think we should have. It becomes automatic. It becomes part of how we decide our value, our potential, even our right to try. You scroll through your phone and someone's living your dream life. They're younger, they're better looking. They're already doing the thing you've only been thinking about. And in an instant, your energy drops, your momentum stops. You question everything. Why try if someone else is already ahead? Why put yourself out there if you'll just look like a beginner? That's how comparison works. It doesn't just make you feel bad, it paralyzes you. You start hesitating, you start second. Guessing your ideas, you rewrite that email 10 times, you hold back your opinion in the meeting. You don't launch the project, you don't speak up, you don't start, and not because you don't want it, not because you aren't capable, but because you've convinced yourself that someone else already did it better, faster, louder. You've convinced yourself that your voice doesn't matter if it doesn't sound like theirs. It doesn't matter how smart you are, how talented you are, how passionate you are. If you keep comparing yourself to other people, you will delay your progress. Comparison robs you of clarity. It takes your attention off what you can control and puts it on things that aren't even relevant to your journey. Someone else's timeline, someone else's highlight reel, someone else's version of success. And the moment you start thinking your worth depends on how you match up to them, you hand over your power. Comparison convinces you that you're behind, but behind who? Based on what? There is no timeline you're supposed to be on. There is no scorecard that defines your worth. Every single person is moving through their own life with their own circumstances, their own experiences, their own battles. You don't see their fear. You don't see the years of struggle. You don't see the doubt they wake up with. You just see the outcome. You compare their 10th step to your first. And when you do that, you forget the most important part. You have no idea what you're capable of yet. You haven't even given yourself the chance to find out. You're so focused on what someone else has that you forget to build what you want. And that's where comparison becomes deadly. It stops the action that would actually lead to progress. It stops the decisions, the risks, the messy learning. It stops the growth, and the more you compare, the less you create. You cannot create and compare at the same time. You cannot build your life while wishing you had someone else's. And it doesn't matter what you're trying to do. Start a business, lose weight, switch careers, fix your relationship. If you're too busy looking sideways, you will never move forward. Your brain will always find someone who looks like they're doing it better. Your brain will always find a reason to wait, and waiting is the enemy of change. It's not just about confidence, it's about focus. The moment you turn your attention inward, toward your own path, your own next step, you regain your power. Because that's the only place power lies, in your actions, not your comparisons. You can't change what someone else is doing. You can't control their success, their speed, or how they're perceived, but you can control whether or not you let that stop you. You can control whether you choose to keep moving. Every minute you spend comparing is a minute you're not doing. It's a minute you're not learning. It's a minute you're not growing. It's a minute you're not becoming the version of yourself that you actually want to be. And when those minutes add up days, weeks, months, you start wondering why you still feel stuck. But you already know the answer. You haven't been stuck. You've just been distracted. And comparison is one of the easiest distractions to hide behind because it feels like thinking. It feels like strategy, but it's not. It's fear in disguise. It's resistance wearing a mask. It's perfectionism whispering, wait until you're more ready. The truth is, you'll never feel ready if you keep watching what everyone else is doing. You'll never feel confident if you keep deciding that someone else's life is the benchmark. You'll never find momentum if you keep choosing to stand on the sidelines. The people who build incredible things aren't immune to comparison. They just recognize it for what it is, noise. They know it slows them down. They know it keeps them small. So they practice the discipline of looking inward again and again, not because it's easy, but because it's necessary. Confidence is built through movement, not thought. Most people misunderstand confidence. They think it's a feeling you're supposed to have before you do something hard. They think confident people wake up feeling fearless and ready to conquer anything. But that's not how it works. Confidence isn't something you wait for. It's something you create, and the way you create it is by taking action. Even when you don't feel like it, even when you're scared, even when your brain is screaming at you to sit down and play it safe. If you sit around thinking about what you want to do, planning, analyzing, hesitating, doubting, you don't build confidence. You build hesitation. You train your brain to associate your goals with overthinking and fear. Your body learns that when you have a big idea or a new dream, the response is to stop, to stall, to over-prepare. And the longer you stay in that state, the harder it becomes to move. Thinking feels safe. But it's not progress. It's not momentum. It's a trap. Action is the only thing that changes your brain. When you physically move, even in a tiny way, you begin to rewire your beliefs about yourself. You start proving to your nervous system that you can survive discomfort. You teach your brain that fear doesn't equal danger, and more importantly, you learn that you don't have to feel confident in order to take the first step. You just have to take it. The first step doesn't have to be big. It doesn't have to be loud. It doesn't even have to look impressive to anyone else. It just has to exist. Maybe it's sending one email. Maybe it's making one phone call. Maybe it's walking into that room, opening your mouth, starting the conversation. That single moment of movement creates a ripple. It changes your internal story from "I'm someone who avoids hard things" to "I'm someone who tries." And that new identity becomes the foundation for confidence. Confidence doesn't come from being perfect. It comes from being willing to be seen. It comes from doing the thing while your hands are shaking, your voice is cracking, and your stomach is in knots. People who look confident on the outside aren't always feeling it on the inside. What they've learned is how to act in alignment with who they want to become, not who they are in the moment. They understand that action leads and emotion follows. You don't become a confident speaker by waiting to feel confident. You become a confident speaker by speaking over and over and over. You don't become confident in your leadership by reading about leadership. You build it by making decisions, taking responsibility, having hard conversations, and learning as you go. You earn your own trust through action, and trust is what confidence really is, knowing that no matter what happens, you can handle it. Confidence is not bravado, it's not ego, it's not walking into a room thinking you're better than everyone else. It's walking into a room and not needing to compare yourself to anyone at all. That level of self-assurance doesn't come from having all the answers. It comes from knowing that you'll figure it out, that if it goes wrong, you'll adjust. That if you fail, you'll survive, and that kind of belief in yourself can only come from experience. You don't get experience by thinking, you get it by doing. Every time you act, you add to the internal evidence that you're capable. That evidence is what your brain uses to form your beliefs about yourself. If you never act, there's no evidence, so your brain defaults to old stories. Stories from childhood, stories from failure, stories that were never yours to begin with. And those stories will control you until you interrupt them with action. When you move, you shift the energy. You interrupt the patterns that have been keeping you stuck. Your brain can't stay in the loop of doubt and panic when your body is in motion. Movement grounds you in the present. It takes you out of your head and puts you in your life. That's why even the smallest action can change everything. Not because it gets you to the finish line, but because it gets you out of your own way. If you wait to feel confident before you begin, you'll never begin. If you wait until you have all the information, until you're certain of the outcome, until the fear goes away, you'll wait forever. The truth is, action comes first, confidence comes later. Action isn't the result of confidence, it's the cause. Confidence is a consequence. It's built, not found. It's earned, not inherited. And you earn it one brave decision at a time, one uncomfortable step at a time, one moment of movement at a time. Small acts of courage compound. Most people think courage has to be loud, dramatic, or life-altering to count. They imagine it in extremes, quitting a job on the spot, giving a TED talk, leaping into some massive new chapter without a plan. But the truth is, the courage that actually transforms your life almost never looks like that. It looks small, it looks ordinary, it looks like sending the text you've been avoiding. It looks like speaking up when your voice shakes. It looks like setting a boundary and standing by it, even when it's uncomfortable. The moments that change you are rarely broadcast worthy. They're quiet, daily, and often unseen by anyone else but you. Courage doesn't happen once. It happens over and over in tiny choices that slowly shift the course of your life. You don't build a new identity with one big decision. You build it by consistently choosing the harder path in small moments. You choose to act instead of staying silent. You choose to try again instead of quitting. You choose to walk toward discomfort instead of away from it. And those decisions, though they may seem insignificant in the moment, compound in the same way that interest does in a bank. They build on each other. They multiply. They gain momentum. Most people underestimate the power of one small, brave choice. They assume that if it doesn't lead to immediate transformation, it doesn't matter. But that's not how courage works. Courage is a muscle. The more you use it, the stronger it gets. And just like with muscles, it doesn't grow from a single lift. It grows from repetition. Every small, courageous act is like a rep. You might not see the change overnight, but it's happening. It's building, it's becoming part of who you are. When you choose to show up despite the fear, even in a small way, you train your nervous system to tolerate discomfort. You begin to build proof that you can handle hard things. And that proof becomes your foundation. You stop needing guarantees. You stop waiting for the fear to disappear. You stop asking for signs or perfect timing, because you've already practiced showing up without any of that. You've proven to yourself again and again that you can feel afraid and still act with intention. The mistake we make is thinking that courage means the fear goes away. It doesn't. Fear stays. But when you repeatedly choose to move through it, you change your relationship with it. You stop seeing fear as a stop sign and start seeing it as a signal that you're on the edge of growth, a signal that you're leaving your comfort zone, a signal that what you're about to do might actually matter. And when that signal shows up, you already know how to respond, because you've practiced, you've taken the reps, you've shown up in small ways day after day, and now those small acts have turned into a habit. Courage compounds because each small act raises the bar for what you believe you're capable of. Once you've done something brave once, your mind can no longer pretend that it's impossible. That single moment creates a crack in the story of helplessness. It interrupts the narrative that says you're not ready, not strong enough, not qualified. That crack becomes a doorway, and once it's open, the light gets in. You start to see new possibilities. You start to dream a little bigger. You start to act a little bolder. And over time, those small cracks become a path. There are people who will never understand the courage it takes just to get out of bed in the morning when you're battling anxiety or depression. They'll never see the bravery in pressing send on that email when you feel like an imposter. They won't notice when you say no for the first time, or walk away from someone who doesn't respect you, or speak your truth in a room that usually silences you. But you'll know, you'll feel it, you'll remember what it took, and that memory will carry you to the next hard moment. The more small acts of courage you take, the more you begin to trust yourself, and self-trust is everything. It's what allows you to take risks. It's what allows you to try again after failure. It's what allows you to stand in uncertainty and not run from it. Every time you act with courage, you prove that you can rely on yourself. And when you can rely on yourself, you don't need to wait for permission. You don't need validation. You don't need to have it all figured out. You just need to keep showing up in those small, brave ways that build momentum and strength over time.